Can't hear him. At Backside Attack.
At Vic Sabe.
So we're going to get a call in later on.
Yes, indeed.
I figured I would do I actually have like a shit ton of notes, but we'll see if we even use them at all or not.
Oh, whatever. Yeah, just go with the flow.
Yeah, man. We have one episode that is last week's episode, I think, that is not out yet.
Okay.
So I actually did like the first episode of season 3. Then I think I did the second episode of season 3.
Second episode, yeah.
The third episode of season 3 is in the can right now.
That's why we couldn't do Sunday.
That's why we didn't do. Well, no, I had more stuff going on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's in the can, and then there's like a 4th episode in the waiting as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the 6th episode.
Oh, okay.
That's all confusing, but it doesn't matter because really this is the 3rd episode.
Yeah, that's right.
Because weird shit went down this week. Don Cherry's like a crazy racist now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or always.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm only getting to that now because that seems to be the big thing that everybody kind of has been prodding us to talk more about, and that just happened pretty much.
Yeah.
So I figured we will might as well just start talking about it.
You know the thing, I think with Don Cherry is like, okay, first of all, I don't think they should get rid of him.
On the old hockey night.
Yeah, Hockey Night in Canada, because like, okay, everyone knows that like. With Don Cherry, you know what you get, okay?
Yeah.
The guy was born like almost 100 years ago, okay?
Yeah.
So like, it's like he's
really good point.
Yeah, he's harmless. Like so, like, it's not like he doesn't like he's just so old. Like, what do you expect from him? Like, he's very boisterous. He's always been like this, right? But he's just a victim of being that old in this culture right now.
What I do hate, I'm just playing around with the mics here a little bit before we really get going on here. What I do think ultimately is the case here is what we always kind of talk about. He is like the pinnacle of old man ignorance.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like he thinks that only white people fought and died in wars.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks that white people built Canada, and it kind of does. I don't know.
I don't know. There's an argument for that.
Yeah.
But
I'm not necessarily saying that is a hard racist stance. But I think in his mind, he fails to see that there are other people involved in the creation of the country and the running and management and the maintenance of this country.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know if Don Cherry knows that or not.
Yeah,
I think
it feels that way to me.
Yeah, okay, so I think I think the quick fix, if there was one, could have been just to come out and said, you know what, guys, this is what I meant. But I just feel like he was was he unable to explain himself?
I think so.
Like articulately?
I think so.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I would. The thing is, who watches?
Who even watches Coach's Corner?
Yeah, like Coach's Corner is like, I don't watch it for hockey analysis. You watch it because there's this old fool who's on there and just
this clown
who goes on there,
feeble-minded clown
who wears like these clown costumes, and so I don't know. I'm for bringing him back. I don't care.
I've always kind of said the thing about like it's racist and rattlesnakes. Like I don't want you to get rid of them because when they make their noise, I know what they are. Mm-hmm. Like I know a rattlesnake's a rattlesnake. He's making that sound.
Yeah.
I know like an ignorant old turd, he might not be a hardcore. Like I don't think he's a hardcore racist. Like I mean he's never really been like ignorantly, blatantly like N-bomb dropping or like the Packy players in the league. Like he doesn't really do that kind of thing. No, but he has stood up for Subban. He has stood up for minority players.
Yeah, and the thing is,
unless they're French or European.
Yeah, he's just like, I think he's just like when the like Europeans, he's kind of like have negative thoughts towards. Yeah, because like he knows that. He thinks that the Canadian-born players are the best, and when you see the uprising, when you saw the uprising of these European stars, I think that's where I guess hatred is a strong word, but just kind of like goes no, we're the best. I think he was playing protectionism.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and I think with Don Cherry's, he's all you have to do is just really just come out and say like, guys, this is what I meant.
Yeah,
I don't know.
My problem with him in general in that statement and not coming out and like even not so much that I needed him to apologize. I don't. Like I mean I really don't. Him being around or not being around isn't gonna affect me either way. Like I know what he is. Yeah. So I can kind of call a horse a horse. I can call a duck a duck. That's what he is, right? Mm-hmm. But what I think is like you said earlier. I don't think it's a matter of he didn't want to apologize. I think he just doesn't realize the world has moved on without him. Like. He is a product, like you said. He's a product of his 100-year-old age. Yeah, like that's what he is, and that's just like everybody. Like I've kind of got that little joke that I make all the time too. I meet some really nice old white people. I've worked in lots of places where like old white people are always in there. Mm-hmm. I always kind of expect them to say something kind of racist, but I don't think they're racist.
No, they're because I think with Don Cherry, it's like, yeah, it's like that he's a snake oil salesman who doesn't know he's selling snake oil.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah. So
that's a really good look at it.
Yeah. So he's because like a lot of people who are like satirists, right? For example, like let's say
that's a very fancy way to say it.
Well, like let's say Jon Stewart, for example, right? He's
Yeah.
he knows that when he goes on his show, he's a snake oil salesman, right? But he knows it's snake oil.
Yes.
Don Cherry's not like that.
He thinks he's protecting a way of life.
Yeah, he's a very protectionist when it comes to like pure hockey from the 50s and 60s and the Boston Bruins, like when he grew up, right?
Yeah.
But the world has moved on.
Yeah, and a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's, but when you're saying something like that has that much like, that much effect when it comes to like veterans and Remembrance Day and stuff like that, that's a heavy subject, right?
It is.
Yeah, and when you're making those kind of comments in that context about something that's so important and so like. And like if you don't watch your words, this is an example of how it can fall apart.
I can see where his heart was.
Yeah.
That like there isn't enough remembrance for our veterans anymore. Like you're not seeing people wear poppies anymore. There's an article in the Post or Vice or something. I'll look it up later on about a guy who goes like, I heard what Don Cherry said, so I went on the bus and hello there. I went on the bus or the train, whatever it was in Toronto, and I thought I'll just take a look around. I'll see who's wearing a poppy and who's not.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was a mishmash. It was brown-skinned people, Chinese people, it was white people, it was all kinds of people not wearing a poppy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one type of person. So, like, why was that? Was it just like, he goes, I wasn't wearing one because I wore the wrong coat today. I didn't have my current coat on. So is it a matter of just not knowing? Like, it's just that these people who come into the country now just don't know? And which is all also in a form, like, it's excusable. If you don't know, like, there was a dude who did an article the other day saying that today, he talked to a military veteran, and then he talked to a guy who worked with the military veteran. And the guy who worked with the military veteran just simply did not know what the poppy meant because he's been here 3 months from India.
Yeah.
So he's like, I researched it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
I researched it. I read about it, and I'm on board, but I didn't know, so I didn't wear one. I haven't worn one today. There's a lot of that involved, I think, as well.
Yeah, like he just didn't. I don't know what it was. My biggest problem with it is that, obviously there's no law against not wearing a poppy on Remembrance Day, right?
Yeah.
I think his like if you really boil it down to what he was trying to say, I think in his heart, I like to think that he just he just wants more people to like remember, because maybe this means a lot to him.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you know what? These people fought and died for you. So maybe he was just making a general comment about maybe the public at large.
Yeah.
That's the hopeful feeling.
That's the hopeful feeling.
But like, it can be maybe he was just like, you know what? You knew, maybe like he was just saying, maybe what came out of his mouth was just like, you people who come from other countries, you have to understand that this is the way we do it in Canada. Like,
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like I feel what you're saying, and I'm in line with you. Like I would hope that, like, come on, man, come on, Don Cherry, don't be a bigot.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, when he says
this is just wishful thinking.
It's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But when he says the phrase "you people," I don't think he's referring to a German immigrant.
I don't think so either. I think I'd like to think that he's talking about the general public.
I would hope he was, but I don't think he is. I think he's like, I mean, personally, and that could be it, right? I mean, I would hope that he's thinking about the general public. I kind of feel like it is a product of his era. His era.
Oh, he definitely, absolutely,
is definitely xenophobic. I mean, they just are. The majority of them just it's displayed in a lot of the way they were all acting, and kind of like, I don't know, being the information they were inundated with at the time, like their generation, where he's from. It can be a scary thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he's xenophobic, therefore he's racist. I'm just saying it's a scary thing when all of a sudden what you've known since childhood starts changing, and you're like, what is this? Why is there a halal butcher in my neighborhood? The hell is halal?
Yeah.
I don't know. This is immigrant food, man. What happened to Dave's? They pushed Dave's Butchery out. And everybody here's brown now. That's why Dave can't make a buck, because nobody eats that stuff anymore. So I think that kind of fear happens. And in their mind, that's not a fear coming from like a white immigrant, because they don't know they can't tell the difference.
Yeah, I think he also was like, you have to like look at the way he said it. So if he was saying it like more as a for lack of a better term, a cautionary tale about people, you should remember this day more. Like, make more of an effort to, put a quarter in the thing and like, pay a couple of bucks and get and wear a poppy on this day, right? As opposed to saying like, the other end of the spectrum were saying like he was saying with anger. And like so he's like, yeah, you people come from other countries and like you don't say this, right?
Yeah.
I think like that's the divide. And so was he saying it like depending upon his tone?
Yeah.
Like was he like he's always like boisterous, right? But like I'm just wondering if he's like, was he just being like, was he just he was just angry because like no one's wearing them, or he's pissed off that people from other countries are like come in and they're ignorant of it. And
I think so.
So like I think that's where you have to find out, like, you know, where was his heart lying, and like what did he mean, like, where was it coming from?
It's just like when I've watched a bunch of times because like we were going to talk about it, and everybody I know has talked about it, and it's just one of those things that's so out there. I've seen it so many times now. There's a moment when he does that thing where he's like, okay, hold on, you friggin' people, like he's got that kind of way that he kind of gets to it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like, you know, nobody's wearing poppies anymore. Everybody should just respect our land of milk and honey, and we've got it good over here because people died. So we should be wearing poppies. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like that. And it wasn't like, you know what? Like everybody comes over here and doesn't know any better, but this is what we do. We respect the people. Like they don't do it in the States as much. Yeah. So he should say like, you know, you're coming here from America, you're coming here from Europe. Well, Europeans do. Whatever, wherever you're coming from. Mm-hmm. We respect them by wearing a poppy, and we wear the poppy to show our appreciation and put a couple bucks in the box. Yeah. But instead it comes down to the way he just kind of drops that, okay, hold on. You people, come here to our land of milk and honey. It's like, well, that's where you lose me, Don. Like, that's the part where he lost.
Well, yeah, that's his biggest problem is that he's sad to say, but his biggest problem is that he's Don Cherry. Yeah, and he can't articulate himself very well when it comes to that. Like his emotions always get the better of him. Like look at the way. Okay, let's say if you just took the whole poppy thing out of it. Okay, let's say you took this whole incident out of it, right? Just look at the way he talked in general about hockey. Okay. Yep. He's very like opinionated. He's very loud. Yeah. He's very like onto himself. Like he's very boisterous. I keep using that word.
I'm right and you're stupid.
Yeah. So he has that, right? So like, okay, so let's say you knew that, right? And before this whole thing happened, you're like, okay, so what if you threw this at him? Let's say you threw like people who are not wearing poppies and all this stuff, right? How do you think he's going to react?
There's like a certain type of conspiracy theory behind that too, right?
Well, think about it. Like, let's see if you said that to him, like, okay,
hey Don, what do you think about poppies?
Yeah, you'll be like, don't ask them that question.
You know what? Like, that's what I'm saying. You could be absolutely right. Yeah, like, this could be Sportsnet was like, hey, you gotta get rid of Don Cherry.
Yeah, so like if you knew that going in, why would you be surprised that this came out?
Yeah, why did you? Yeah, I mean, somebody might have queued him up. Somebody could have like all day. They can be like, we got to find a way to get rid of this guy. Yeah, put him on the air and talk about racism.
I bet you anything in the first 10 seconds, people are like, oh shit.
There's a crew in the back. It's like, God come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man.
Oh, Don,
this is the end.
Or I mean, for all you know, Burke is just sitting there trying to like, hey Don, talk about poppies. Talk about how they hate poppies because I hate my current gig. Yeah, exactly. I want to work on coaches. I'm a better coach than that freak. I don't wear loud suits.
Yeah, like he's an old fool. Like like
he is an old fool.
Like how many people do you think actually like honestly, how many people do you think tune into that to hear his hockey analysis?
Oh, I mean, I would guess that there are people who've been doing it since they were kids. Yeah. Like, but who are clearly 35 to 65. I don't think there's like a 25-year-old who's like, you know what, Coach's Corner's on. Don't change the channel, Mom. Coach's Corner's on. Don Cherry's coming.
Yeah, I want him back just for the sake of like having it. Just because it's a part of like Canadian culture, right? Like Don Cherry's Coach's Corner and stuff like that, right?
Well, it is like it's hockey mythology.
It's hockey mythology.
It's a living legend. It's hockey mythology happening while we're alive.
Yeah, he's one of the Greek gods of Canadian hockey, right? Yeah. So, but the problem is that he's like the times moved on. He didn't.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the thing is, there's so many other ways that he could have handled that situation, but he handled it the Don Cherry way.
He handled the Don Cherry way,
and he doubled down on it too.
And that's a huge part of it. He doubled down on it. Now, the one thing I do kind of feel that comes out more and more now is all the French Canadians who are like, you know what, he's been racist towards us for a long time, but nobody cared because we're not like a visible minority, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, and he has been. If you look back at the history of Don Cherry on like French players. And not just Don Cherry. I mean, it used to happen like in the UFC and stuff too, right? Where they're like French fighters are soft, and GSP is like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, then he fucking crippled everybody.
And he crippled everybody, right? Mm-hmm. So like that is a common thing, and that's what bugs me about it. It's because everybody kind of thinks, and we've said this so many times, everybody wants to like call us out on the way we feel about racism. There's 100+ episodes that you can hear us talking about it because we talk about it here a lot because it's something that we deal with a lot. Yep. But like racism comes from everybody to everybody.
Yep.
It is not proprietary to white people against black people or against other non-white minorities. It comes from everybody, man.
Everybody.
So it's like, call it out everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get the whole, and then again, you got to be careful there too, though, right? Because that whole cancel culture and the appropriation bullshit that happens. So it's everywhere. It's just we gotta talk more. There's gonna be a lot more conversation instead of just straight up being like, that dude is just straight up fucking racist. I want to burn him in effigy and I want to burn him on the cross.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's true. I think with but the fact that this whole, like, Don Cherry is a good example of this. Like, this whole situation is that, like, obviously racism is never going to go away.
No,
it's never going to go away.
No,
right?
It's here to stay forever.
Yeah, because you'll have the people who are professionally upset.
Yep.
Or just people who are just genuinely upset, depending upon how severe the racist comment, act, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. But then you'll also have the defenders saying, like, fucking take it easy, grow up, it's not that big of a deal, and stuff like that, right? So you'll have the defenders, and mm-hmm. then you'll have the people who are just like, no, that is either they're either like they're easily offended, or they are serious, like, that is fucking racist, like, don't do that, right?
Yeah.
So you have those two sides coming at each other in high volume or low volume, depending on the intensity, right? Mm-hmm. So it's never going to go anywhere.
No, there's always going to be there to some degree.
Yeah.
Like, to some degree, you will always have this conversation happening in perpetuity forever mm-hmm. with somebody.
Racism is like, it's part of, it's our lives now.
Yeah, well, it's part of our culture.
It's a part of our culture.
And everywhere. Like, I want to say it might be louder in Western culture.
It is.
But it's everywhere, though.
Yeah, I think it's more, it's louder in Western culture, mm-hmm. but it is, I would actually venture to say that it's actually practiced more, like, in the sense of, like, not just what you say, mm-hmm. but in, like, what you actually do to the other person, a racist act.
In the West? Or, like, worldwide?
I think more in the East, like, like in, over there, because the people who are, like here you can't really kill someone for being a different color than you, right?
Oh, yeah, in the East you can.
In the East you can.
I mean, they're still doing, I don't know how much they're still doing it, but in fairly recent pop culture history, they were still making commercials in China about putting a black guy in a washing machine and out comes the whitest Chinese guy you've ever seen.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, our laundry comes out cleaner because we use this detergent.
Yeah.
God, it's like super fucking racist. You could never put that on TV here. I know,
I've seen that. Yeah, it gets the blackout. Yeah.
It's really odd, right? And mm-hmm. then even when you look at the weird stuff that happens in the East, if you're dark skinned, it's because you're poor, because you're out in the sun all day long. And then it's like, well, obviously in their mind, and they're not obviously, but in their mind, and it is something that's been done. If you're black, or if you're like a different, like a northern, eastern, like Thailand, or if you're like a northern, from northern China, and you work hard, you have a certain look to you. Mm-hmm. It's like you're looked at as being like a farmer, and you're poor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an automatic bigotry that happens there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's got to be based in the race too, because those people they're mishmash of cultures. They come from different parts of India and Russia and the Middle East and China, and they all kind of mishmash that one part of like northern Middle Eastern Asia or Central Asia.
Yeah, that's where cultures have not been modernized
at all.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because
right.
like there's like perfect example, like, it's like look at the East Indian culture, right? Mm-hmm. There is still the caste system.
Oh yeah, brutal there too.
Yeah, there you go, right? So like it doesn't matter.
That's bigotry within your own race.
Right in your own culture. Like you are, like you cannot, like if you were a certain class, let's say if you were considered the lowest caste, right? Mm-hmm. Your label is that, and then people know it. I can go to someone like who's intelligent, but from India, who has like I can go to my dad, and say. And Dad, what about this caste, right? I even asked them this. I'll give you a pure example of this. I said, what if a person from this caste went to medical school?
Yeah.
Okay? My dad's response was, that can never happen.
Impossible.
Why? I'm like, why is that? And he goes, because of his caste.
And that's a held belief within one generation removed from where we are.
Yeah.
Of like our parents.
That's one generation.
Yeah, from India. Yeah. That's their mind is still stuck there.
Yeah, and the idea that could not even happen. Mm-hmm. He's like, I can't fathom that. Yeah. Right? Speaks volumes of like that's my dad who's like who's very very intelligent, but
super sharp dude.
Yeah. So, but he will not but the thing is, the culture still has his hooks in them.
Oh yeah.
So, and maybe that's based because like if you go to India, that's probably the truth.
No, I've been there. It is.
Yeah,
true.
it is the truth.
I've been there multiple times in the last decade. It is exactly the truth.
So like, because we have them on our farm in India, right? Like, in our we have a massive farm in India because we own a lot of land there.
Yeah.
And all of our people who actually work on the land are all of the lowest caste, right? And so, and they're treated like absolute. From what I've told, not from my family, right? But like the people who actually work on there, they treat those guys like
they're just disposable humans.
Those people it's a disposable workforce.
That is just brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my point. A lot of times too is like racism is not just one, like definitively one set of people to one set of people. It's in all cultures, and it's like bigotry happens within cultures.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I don't know. I kind of feel like the at the end of the day, Don Cherry getting fired for the long term will do nothing. Like, it's not going to solve any problems. It's not making anybody feel better. In fact, everybody who feels good about it that's, I mean, I don't know if you should feel good about it. But anybody who feels bad about it also, like, I don't know, maybe like you should look at, like, watch what he said. Look at what he said. This is definitely a learning moment in the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think well, the key word here there is learning. Okay.
Yeah.
So like I think what Don Cherry like what you just said is like, okay, what does firing a person do for their homophobia or their racism or whatever it is, right? What does that do? That guy's probably gonna get fired. He's probably he's gonna probably drink a ton of alcohol and say more racist shit on the street, right?
Yeah.
So firing him is like, because you're not gonna do you honestly think Don Cherry gives a fuck about he's so big in hockey, right? Like, some people who came defend him. Bobby Orr called him 8 times.
Yeah, Bobby Orr, I mean, he coached him, right?
Yeah, so like I think with Don Cherry is like, I think if there's anything positive you want to come out of this, is like, if you have the means, reach out to Don Cherry and just be like, because that's what the Sikh community did. The Sikh community, I think in Mississauga, I believe. I could be wrong, but it's either Mississauga or somewhere in Ontario. They reached out to Don Cherry, like, you know what? Why don't you come to our temple and, like, you know what? We can just talk and just hang out. We didn't even talk about that stuff.
No, but I mean, like, that'd be good, because he's gonna walk past probably a wall full of Sikh veterans from World War I and II.
Yeah, and that's probably what they're gonna show him. Be like, you know what?
So we all wear poppies.
Yeah.
And that wall's full of why, and maybe be introspective about what you said.
And I don't I think that it won't be a bunch of like gotcha moments. It'll be more like we're gonna support you, and like, we're gonna, like, not just like, I guess educate you is a bad term, but
I think expose him.
Like, yeah,
not expose him for being what he is. They're gonna expose him to like aspects of culture that he doesn't know about.
Yeah, exactly. And then he'll like not as a sense like, I'm sorry I was wrong, but it's like, he goes, you know what, that's great. Like, I'm so, because maybe he's never like actually been really exposed to that level, to the Sikh culture. So
it's a real good wall there, eh? I didn't know any better. I'm a big old douche. Go say some nice stuff now.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully, right? That's just it. I mean, that would be the hope. Like I said, I didn't want to like just drive hard with this one, because I kind of feel like I would like to walk away from a lot of like racially charged talk this year, because we talk. I mean, it's hard for us not to, because we're always dealing with it in our personal life.
Yeah, because we've been victims of it.
Yeah, I mean, I hate using that term too. I've had a lot.
I'm not victim. I
don't feel like a victim.
No, I don't feel victimized, right? Like, I'm like all the racist shit that I went through when I was a kid made me stronger.
Exactly.
So like, I don't. If it happens to me, I don't care. I'm like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, my scars are layered over, man.
Exactly.
Like, it's a turtle shell back here, all around my body.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not gonna bother me.
Yeah, if you call me something like in the middle of a public place,
yeah,
guess what? Like, everyone there is probably gonna kill you, and I don't have to touch you,
and I don't have to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's our culture right now.
Because you're gonna get canceled in real time.
Yeah.
By a mob.
Yeah,
an angry mob.
Yeah, so I think, I don't think that Don Cherry's, I don't think what he said warranted being. I think if anything, he should have taken some time off and be like, you know what, and then maybe do a self-assessment to be the guy that done shit. They'd be like, you know what, man, take some time off. Like, think about what you just said, and bring him back. And I'll be because that's what I would like to see.
That would have been a cool moment.
Yeah.
If Don Cherry himself had been like, you know what, I said some shit. I'm gonna take some time. I'm not apologizing, but I'm gonna take a little step away.
Yeah.
And then come back in like 3 or come back next season.
Yeah.
And be like, you know, I went back and I talked to a lot of members of the community.
Yeah.
I still feel strongly about the poppy.
Can you imagine how great would that story be?
That'd be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Especially a year of like just like a goodwill tour.
Yeah.
Just meeting people from like
going across Canada, meeting people of all cultures, and be like, you know, how did you what did you guys do in the war, or what was your history with the war?
That's a damn Netflix series, man.
I know, man.
I mean, if we just done that, and you know what? If he comes back, like I said, in a year from now, and he doesn't say, "I'm sorry for what I said," he could say something like, "You know what? I understand now.
Yeah.
I get why what I said was taken the way it was taken."
Yeah.
You don't even have to apologize.
No, not at all.
You don't even have to.
Like, I understand he's like 100, but if he says he grew up, that'd be great.
Yeah, right. A 100-year-old man grew up.
Yeah, I grew up finally. Someone get my cane.
That's just it. And like I said, in my mind, just to maybe end off my end of it, and you can go on with this. Feel like in my mind, I just kind of feel like people of his generation, they're not vile or evil or gross people.
No,
they just come from a different type of world, and in that world, they don't see that there were other people building the world they're in themselves.
No,
and then they also, I think it's like the lady in the Shoppers who yelled at the Chinese lady for not speaking English in Canada.
Oh yeah,
it's like if that were a German guy with a German accent as the guy running the pharmacy, I don't think she'd have had the stones to say what she said.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
That's like a legit punching down moment. And all of that has kind of got to be like there are places to put your anger that's legit. And I kind of feel like this isn't one of them. I think the anger shouldn't be like this. Don Cherry moment is a good moment for us to not be super pissed, but be more communicative. Like, we got to talk about this.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, because he's such a central figure.
Yeah, and
like that lady who was like, you know, that Chinese lady. That Chinese lady, she did speak English. They just it wasn't that great, right?
It wasn't great, but she tried.
But she speaks 2 languages.
Yeah.
Do you speak Chinese? Do you speak Cantonese? No.
She speaks 2 languages.
She speaks 2 languages.
Go learn Chinese, then bitch her out.
Honestly, I always tell people the next time you try to insult someone who doesn't speak English that well, realize that they're speaking 2 languages. You only speak 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Unless you've got like French and English and Portuguese, then you kind of get it. Then you got to ask them, well, what else do you speak 3 languages?
Yeah.
I don't know, but then again, like, it keeps moving the goalposts, right?
Yeah, but I think people who do like speak multiple languages, when they see someone else struggling with languages, they've been there before, so they would understand.
If they've learned it.
Yeah, they learned it. So if there's someone who speaks English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, German, whatever like that, right? And they see another person struggling with another language, they've like learning of those other languages are pretty hard. If you got French, if you speak French, Spanish is is not that bad.
It's just it's like a easy field goal.
Exactly.
It's not even trying to get a touchdown after 3. It's just an easy field goal.
No, it's just like chocolate syrup on your vanilla ice cream.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
And then it's all chocolate ice cream. I didn't speak English until I was 4, I think. It was my second language. I was born here. It was my second language in this country. And that was one of those things. I remember my cousin saying that when I was a little kid, she was trying to talk to me, and I was saying in Hindi to my mom or to my grandma, like, I don't know what she's saying. Like, I can't talk to her. I don't know what she's saying. It was one of those weird moments. I still kind of vaguely remember not learning English, but learning the division of the languages. Like, I would say certain words in one language, but like finish my sentence in another language. And I still remember as a little kid when that was happening. And I can't quite remember. Breathing right into the mic. I can't quite remember when that split happened, but it's like around 4.
Oh, okay.
Like 3-ish, 4-ish, where it was like it became like English was getting more and more like dominant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There was because my friend of the show, Sandy, and my brother, their first language was not English either.
Yeah.
It was Punjabi.
I mean, a lot of us were, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us grew up in houses where your parents only spoke one language.
Yeah, and then so my parents, they said, you know what, forget that. Like, the next time, they're like, as soon as when I was born, they're like, nope, all English. And I don't speak. I know the basics. Like, I know when I'm being insulted.
I always assumed you were fluent.
No, I'm not.
Really?
Yeah, but when I pronounce the words, I pronounce them correctly.
Yeah, that's
my vernacular is very good, right?
Yeah.
But like, I can't hold a conversation.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Yeah. So I tried speaking French. Fuck, I just gave up.
Man, French was really
grade 7. I tried.
Yeah, I tried really hard. I can understand when somebody, like, if I'm watching TV, I can get through watching TV, but I can't form like the sentences properly. Like,
No,
I'm all over the map.
Yeah, I knew Je m'appelle, then my name.
Yeah.
I knew fromage was cheese.
Well, everybody knows fromage.
Yeah, and fromage. And I'm gonna rummage for some fromage. They're
I know moutarde is mustard.
yeah, and I just learned from the back of labels because they always have like the French label. Whatever.
Yeah, you know what? I have label French. Like
Yeah, I have a label French.
Yeah, so
exactly.
like mode d'emploi.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you use this thing?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the mode d'emploi that thing?
Yeah, I know. Aubergine is
eggplant, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew that.
Well, in the UK, they say aubergine for eggplant. They don't say eggplant.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So if you're like sending somebody the emoji, it's like, why are you sending me an aubergine emoji? What is that? Is that supposed to be a dick?
Yeah, it's a moose cock.
It's a moose cock. Oh. Hey, have you seen? Have you seen? It really is.
It is.
Have you seen the John Hamm? The reason you said moose cock and John Hamm.
Oh, that thing
refused.
The skip the dish.
Yeah, skip dishes.
I hate that fucking commercial.
Oh.
Was he taking advantage of the fact that Canadians are cool now?
You know, he used to get chided on Mad Men by the costume designers to wear underwear on set because his dick is apparently gigantic.
Oh yeah, I heard that his dick is.
There's photos of that thing, like in his pants. Like that thing is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's a big old slab.
He's the ultimate man.
He's the ultimate man.
Yeah.
Do you think him and Defoe have to like sit down every now and then and be like, who's the bigger man? Is it me or you, Ham?
Well, the thing is, like, if Defoe wins, John Hamm is going to beat the shit out of him because Willem Dafoe's a pretty scrawny guy.
I think Willem Dafoe is game. I think when it comes right down to it, Willem Dafoe will ruin your life.
Oh well, look at him in fucking Platoon.
Oh yeah, right. And I think he might even do it psychologically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sure.
If he just gives that look,
beat me, Ham, but
those crazy eyes, and that smile.
Soul.
Willem Dafoe, like, you know, the thing about Willem Dafoe is like his face is so like, there's so much character to it. Even though his face, some people will say like he's not like a very like
handsome human
being. His face has so much character.
You look at Willem Dafoe in To Live and Die in L.A.
Yeah.
Like, look at him when he's young. He hasn't been like beaten down or weathered by the world yet.
Yeah.
That's a handsome human being, but like in a weird androgynous way, like in a Bowie way. Mm-hmm. Like, man, what's going on with that guy?
Yeah, because he has very piercing eyes.
Yeah.
He's a very, very, like, when you watch him, because he can act without talking.
I think most actors can, but he sells it.
But the thing is, that's what I'm saying. Like, just accentuate the point. Like, he really, like, you look at his face.
Yeah.
He can just give you a look and just be like, wow, that's excellent. Because like his face is just so weird.
Look at the GIF there. There's that one GIF of him where he kind of like turns and just grins.
Yeah.
You send that to somebody when you know exactly when you want to convey that.
Yeah.
And they know what you're trying to say to them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, hey, you down for this? It's like, oh, apparently you are down for this. You know what's her name is that too? The old Jane Leaves. That's like her first real role. She's
right?
like the weird kind of like assistant ballerina psychopath he's hanging around with.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of Jane Leaves, they're doing maybe a Frasier reboot too, huh? Looks like it might be running faster than we thought it was. Oh, you don't know what to think about that?
No, I don't.
You really don't? Were you a Frasier fan?
Yes.
I was a massive Frasier fan.
Yeah, I love Frasier. There's no need. The thing is, like, why would you want to reboot it?
Well, I don't think they're gonna reboot it. They're gonna start it and make Frasier basically the Marty Crane character now.
Oh, okay.
Like it's gonna be from what I remember reading about, it's gonna be like Frasier's kid and Niles' kid, Frederick and what the other one was, and they're the new like Frasier and Niles in a way.
See, that's the thing. I don't want to see them like when it comes to like when they do these shows and they continue them on. Mm-hmm. I don't like to see the actors because I've seen them age. And I start putting the numbers together. I'm like, okay, why are they doing this? Like, I know,
does he need money?
Yeah, do they need money and stuff like that, right? So when when you add up all those things, and I'm like, what is this?
Why?
Yeah, why are you doing this, right? I want to see them in their prime. Because the thing is that's why I love Frasier so much, because it's kind of like Seinfeld. Because it's you don't need to like remake it, because you can just watch them as is.
Oh, I still do,
and they're great.
Yeah, it's on one of our channels here.
Yeah, it's like
every day.
Yeah, you can watch it and just be like, wow, this is still relevant, because it's all about. It's not just about the content; it's about how the delivery is. Those people are very good at delivering their lines in that storyline of that and those character arcs.
And it's a very timeless plot. Like every episode seems to be they do a really good job in that show. I don't know how much they tried when they were making it, but they're very relevant to these small stories that don't date themselves.
They don't.
Like they're not talking about I don't know, like a certain president running for office, and there's not a Lewinsky moment.
Yeah.
Where you watch it, then you're like I gotta go Google search who Monica Lewinsky was.
Yeah,
Who is Lewinsky?
No, yeah, like I'm having Windows 95 problems, or whatever it is, right?
Exactly right. Y2K rolls around and nobody freaks out.
Exactly.
There's no Y2K story.
Yeah, that's a 3-part series and whatever, and then the final one is the year 2000. And it clocks over and like, oh, there was nothing happening.
But I mean, even if they did a story like that, I bet you it'd be relevant in the way to Frasier. It'd be relevant to Frasier having like a personal crisis that you can also relate to in 2019.
Yeah, so like the hope would be that it just continues on. It's not any different from like how Frasier was.
Yeah,
and they just move on from there. They don't.
Well, I think it's just gonna be like season 10.
If that's the case, that's totally fine, right? Because
Yeah.
then they can do that in the same way that Curb Your Enthusiasm did it, right? Even though Curb Your Enthusiasm is still like relatively new, like when the first seasons came out,
There's a big break between episodes.
There's a big break, but then it just continued on. It's like they didn't skip a beat, right?
Yeah, oh, they really didn't.
Yeah, so I think
I'm still really happy that you talked me into just going full bore with Curb Your Enthusiasm, because it went from where I just I saw a few episodes, I didn't really watch it consistently. I was watching the ones that were like kind of edited, like Soprano style for TV.
Yeah,
because I remember like City or something had them on, like every day at 7 or something crap like that. So I'd come home from work, pop it on, it would be on. I would kind of like half watch it, but so I really didn't it didn't click, right? Because it was maybe a lot of the edge was taken out.
Yeah,
I remember the first one I ever saw was the one with the what's it called, the black guy, the way he was kind of admiring and he's gonna write lyrics for the rapper.
Oh yeah.
Wanda Sykes, it was her boyfriend, right? And then that was the first one. That's Vanessa Williams' brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She's like he kept using it. You bad motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it didn't click. And then I started watching it again when you just talked me into it from beginning to end. God, geez, that's a great show.
Yeah,
it is right up there with Seinfeld for me.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's such a good show. Speaking of things that are edited,
I know where you're going. I know exactly where you're going.
You might not actually.
Are you talking about Disney Plus?
Yes.
Simpsons?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew where you're going.
Shit, man, that's very good. So,
yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
We're in a weird place right now.
Yeah.
So, well, no, this is yours. You run
Okay,
with it.
so for the uninitiated, so Disney Plus has all the Simpsons episodes. I think everybody knows that, right? I think that was actually the most watched thing. It was like that, and then Mandalorian, and then like binge watching the old school shit.
Yeah,
right?
people were really jacked about
Yeah,
it.
so I have Disney Plus.
Oh,
And,
really?
I have it. Yeah, I'll show it to you afterwards. And then what they did is that they edited out the one Simpsons episode, and that's the one where they had Michael Jackson on there.
Yep.
The old school one where the guy who's in the insane asylum was pretending to be or thought he was Michael Jackson, and they edited that out.
It's like season 3, episode 1.
Yeah.
And it is gonzo.
It's gone.
Yeah, I guess. Well, there was like a whole thing about Matt Groening saying how they took a step back when they were talking about it, like after Finding Neverland came out.
Yeah.
No, is Finding Neverland? That was a different movie, wasn't it?
Oh fuck! I
Something
don't even know.
Neverland,
Yeah.
whatever.
I ignored all those.
Rape in Neverland.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. When that thing came out, they took a step back and they're like, "Well, is this something that we want to like take? Do you want to talk about this? Do we think maybe that the potential is there that Michael Jackson was a pedophile, and do we want to have that in our catalog,
in our portfolio,
in our portfolio here, or is this something we're just gonna like take out and we're gonna explain why because it's controversial and we don't know for sure, but we kind of feel like we want to respect people." So that was the decision, and then when Disney took it, they just straight up took it out.
Yeah, took it out. Yeah,
They took it all together.
Yes, like Disney did a very thorough job in bleaching whatever was like not up to their beliefs.
Yeah, I mean
They
there
really
are
did.
still things like I don't know about the there was like a captioning. See, I don't know who really knows about this. If anybody does know about this or has had a similar experience, definitely reach out to us.
Yeah.
When you captioned back in the day Disney or Simpsons episodes, there were all kinds of inside jokes inside the captions.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, they were
Yeah.
like, they'd say dialogue on the screen for one thing, and the caption would be like, well, we all know Disney's a Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
Like, weird crap like that, right? So I wonder if they even bleached all that stuff. Like, did they go through and do that?
Yeah, the thing is, like, you can actually, I YouTube that. That's how I found out about it. And they actually said there was a guy who just compiled a list of discrepancies, and he just showed it to him, and he actually recorded them, and he had all of them.
Really?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's bonkers, man. Because, I mean, that was the internet of my 90s. Like, we got a TV that had the caption button on it. Because we had, like, shit TVs for the longest times. Like, we had, like, old box CRTs.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we got this one that was, like, the future, and it had a button for closed captioning. It was closed
was it a
captioning,
Sony?
everything. No, I think it was, like, a Sanyo. Like, it wasn't even a great TV.
Uh-huh.
But it had closed captioning on it. So I was using that button for entertainment. I would read and watch everything just to see if it was up to snuff. And The Simpsons was not completely different, but there were like several episodes that had different captions compared to the dialogue being spoken.
Yeah.
And some of them were hilarious. They were just like out of left field. So just like you wonder, like, was that something that Disney also kind of pulled out of there? But there's a big one with Disney is they letterbox it all. Well, don't letterbox it. They 2x1 the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
and that actually cut out a lot of stuff.
So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on screen, like the Duff thing was a huge one, right?
Yeah,
where
the
it's
Duff
like
one,
the dude's telling them like Duff Light, Duff Pro, and Duff Max, whatever it is, and the tube funneling the beer. It's just one tube pumping the same beer in all things.
Yeah.
But they're labeling them differently and selling them at different prices.
Yeah, what did Homer say? He's like, "What's the difference?" He goes like, there is no difference."
Yeah, something. It's like, what's the difference? Well, there's no. Don't worry about it. It's all the same. But that kind of stuff is like there are scenes being cut out now inadvertently, like not on purpose. They're pumping you an image that they're just taking the top and the bottom of the screen out.
Yeah, it's
which makes you wonder, like, wouldn't they just give you the option for 4x3?
You would think
most
so,
TVs
because
can letterbox these days.
you I don't know why they did that, but like Disney is like really sticking to their strict standards of like what they want to show.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
right?
they're very, very like they're combing through everything.
So like everything, what have you noticed yourself so far that's kind of been bleached out a little bit?
Well, I just took a look at just online saying like what because the stuff that they really want to censor makes headlines. So like so the Michael Jackson one was a big one.
It's a weird Greedo thing too, right?
Yeah, there was a Greedo one that Greedo actually shot first.
Yeah.
So it didn't show Han Solo as a murder. And
Also, that's the Lucas thing.
That's the Lucas
There's
thing.
There's a different
right?
one as well, though.
Yeah.
The McCluskey.
Yeah, that's right.
How weird is that?
Yeah, I know. That's weird. And then there's the letterbox showing of like of Simpsons where they just crushed the screen and it deletes like a lot of the stuff that's in there actually in the
it seems like
footage.
Yeah, they zoom in.
They zoom in.
And the top and the bottom is just gone.
Yeah, it's gone. So like it looks like you're watching a movie that was made in IMAX, but they fitted for the normal screen. It goes from like big screen to the IMAX screens are actually in black bars, right? So I'm like, what, am I watching
16:9?
Dunkirk or like am I watching The Simpsons, right? So
yeah.
I don't know. I think I was talking to a friend of the show, Raji, about this, and we're saying like would you keep Disney or would you what do you think is the best streaming service? Like personal opinion. And so I said, you know what? Okay, if you love The Simpsons, if you really love The Simpsons, okay, number one, if you love this, if Simpsons is your favorite TV show of all time, go buy all the seasons.
Yeah,
okay?
you probably already have them.
You probably have them, right?
But they're not hard to get.
They're not hard to get, right? And then also is like, how often are you going to watch Simpsons?
Yeah.
Okay. And number two,
well, how often are you going to go onto Disney Plus to binge a season of The Simpsons?
of the Simpsons, right? Like, like we all have our Simpsons moments where like, oh, I love that when it's on. When you catch it, you're like, oh yeah, that episode's awesome, right? Yeah. But like, I don't have a hankering for that all the time, right? So then I dug further into like what Disney Plus has to offer. Yeah, there's great old school stuff, like all the original old school Spider-Man cartoons on there, except the 1960s and the 1970s one.
Oh, so when you said all of them, you meant none of them.
Though the only ones that are on there are the newer ones from the 90s
one,
and
the crap one.
Yeah, and the 80s ones like Spider-Man and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
That's on there?
Those two are on there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so I started watching those and I'm like, man, these haven't aged well.
No, they're awful. They're
terrible.
Fun. Like they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like where they would split the screen and see Iceman and what was there, Firestar and Spidey all doing their changing thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like it looks like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. And
it kind of was, right?
Yeah,
like it was inspired by, but all the cartoons at that time were doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I remember that sound when like Firestar, she turned to that thing. She's like, that sound.
It was weird, man.
Yeah, they use that sound.
Great.
I think they use that sound effect in He-Man as well.
They use that sound effect in everything. It's like a Wilhelm scream.
Yeah,
it's in everything.
Yeah. So, but yeah, when you watch like that Spider-Man cartoon from 1980, I think it is. That show's awful. It's so bad. Like
it wasn't on long, and it's a subpar version.
Yeah. So
of
that's
of the old one.
Yeah. So that's on there. Spider-Man's Amazing Friends has its moments, but I'm like, you know what?
Once the nostalgia wears off,
it's terrible. Yeah. I'd rather I'd rather listen to MF Doom and listen to the samples he uses from that cartoon mixed in with hip hop. Like that's more, because that gives me more memories than watching the actual cartoon. And then what else is on there is from the 90s. They have so you have Spider-Man.
They must have like the X-Men cartoon.
Yeah, Silver Surfer, Hulk. Iron Man. So they have those. Hulk and Iron Man only lasted one season. And
unfortunately too. And the Silver Surfer was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Silver Surfer was a great cartoon.
When you watch that, you don't watch it as a Marvel cartoon. You watch it as like a pure Silver Surfer cartoon.
Yeah, I mean that really felt like they took the comic, like somebody gave a shit.
Yeah,
like when they made that Silver Surfer cartoon.
It's so well written, and it's an underrated cartoon.
That really is.
A really underrated cartoon. I recommend everyone watch that.
I think out of all of them, like I didn't care much for the Spider-Man cartoon.
The 90s one?
Yeah, I don't know. It just like it felt like the animation. It looked good when they're just kind of standing around. Mm-hmm. But the second they start moving, the scene transitions were really stupid. Mm-hmm. I didn't like any of it. I barely liked X-Men. I thought the stories were good, but again, I had the same problems. Didn't really watch Hulk much, Iron Man, or what was the other one? Whatever that other one was. But the Silver Surfer one.
Oh, Fantastic Four is on there too.
Fantastic Four, yeah.
That's on there too.
But man, I really enjoy Silver Surfer.
Fantastic Four only has one good episode.
I'm not surprised.
That's when Galactus comes to Earth.
See?
And Ghost Rider takes him out. Which is impossible, but like
gross.
And but
so gross.
The Spider-Man one, I actually didn't like. I loved the X-Men one was great, but it got good. It got great, and then it just boom.
It nosedives hard.
It just nosedives because the animation. Like I watched the last episode called Graduation Day when the Shi'ar Empire, like they took Charles Xavier away because they're the only ones who could cure him. The animation you think animation gets better with time, right?
Oh no, it usually gets worse with time.
It's unwatchable.
Oh yeah,
it's terrible.
I think all shows, man. Like I can't think right now of even like Gargoyles. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a cartoon, which is probably on Disney Plus. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a cartoon where it got better with time. Yep. Yeah, Darkwing Duck is on there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you look at like a great example of that is The Simpsons.
Yeah,
The Simpsons animation seasons like 1 through 5. He is fluid. It's beautiful. It looks really cool. It's got great movements. Everybody's like so dynamic.
Yeah.
And then it gets to where it's just like their mouths. It's like 2 keyframes. Mm-hmm. Like there's not like where are the in-betweeners go?
Yeah.
There's no more in-betweeners.
Yeah, it's like comparing like Akira to Bleach.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
It's like taking Akira, which is just gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Like every movement in that, especially like when they really start to mutate the characters out, looks so good. It's so pretty.
I was talking to my dad. My dad's like, we were just talking about Japanese stuff in general, and then he's like, and then he brought up because he knew I used to watch Ninja Turtles like a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's talked about the Ninja Turtles. He's like, we're watching a cartoon like that was on TV or whatever. And my dad's like, what happened to Ninja Turtles? I was like, out of nowhere, right? Then he goes, Japanese. He talks about Japanese animation and stuff like that. Because my dad actually on his iPad he just watches. My dad's obsessed with Japanese culture. Then I said, I'm like, Dad, look at the. They put on some anime and stuff like that on the TV, and I go, look at that.
Yeah.
Now watch this, and I showed him the opening scene of Akira, the bike battle.
That's how you make a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, and my dad's like, he looked at it and he's like, but I was like, he goes, is this new? And I said, no, this came out in over 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes, and he looked at me, he's like, these Japanese, he's like, yeah, this is art.
It is art.
Yeah, man, this is
beautiful.
Art. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of good stuff coming out now, like really, really good work being done. I mean, that Samurai 7 looked really pretty.
Yeah.
All the new, like Studio Ghibli's always going to do really good stuff. Mm-hmm. That Kino no Nuki, whatever that game was.
Yeah, whatever
I'm butchering the name there, but that even the game looks really good. Mm-hmm. But there was like a certain style of animation that happened in Japan, like right up until the mid 90s.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped. Then it got like a weird style happened.
Even the thing is that they became
like the Boondocks.
Yeah, like they became like kind of victims of their own success. Whereas like they did the best work they could with like maybe limited budget, limited scope, and stuff like that, right? But now it's like,
it's not the same.
It's not the same. Like even people, I actually watched a documentary. Like it was a 50-minute one about the animators in Japan, their lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah, that's on
really
YouTube,
sad.
right?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Yeah, there used to be like
I think it was this girl who was like just like they showed her life and like how many hours she has to work
per week.
It sucks, man. Like
remember there was that
can you imagine being an artist and like having to like work like a factory worker?
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
they were like sweatshop workers. Because that The Simpsons would do that little bit. They show the animation is done here for Itchy and Scratchy, and they cut back to the studio in Korea. And it's just like 50 guys in the room all doing the in-between work, and their hands are all cramped up. Yeah. It's all carpal tunnel.
Oh, yeah. Like, and if that's the thing about that's one thing I found out about Simpsons is like a lot of people when they watch Simpsons now, like the newer episodes, they'll be like, okay, it's not as good as the originals, right? Because the originals are like the earlier seasons are all just about generic comedy, right? There's well written and stuff like that, right? I find that because I was watching in the 2000 season 26 episode 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
wow, going deep with that.
Yeah, that one has Elon Musk in it. Elon Musk is actually in the cartoon.
Yeah, I remember. It's like a weird thing. Isn't that where like Homer's house changes?
It's
like the neighbor moves in, the house is weird, so Homer tries to keep up with
no, this one is like when Elon Musk lands his rocket on one of the Falcon rockets onto his lawn, and he's like, Elon Musk is having a problem because he's like, I can't be inspired anymore. He's like, I have, and
his weird deadpan voice.
Yeah, but he finds out that Homer's the Homerisms that Homer says, like, I wish this my lunchbox was made out of
you're right.
was a gingerbread cookie or whatever.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, so then Elon Musk is like, oh, and he pieces together these weird ideas from like Homer's stupid ideas.
Just the things Homer says.
Yeah, and then he turns them into like genius ideas. And then but
overall, how's the episode though?
The episode is good because I know I've watched so much and read so much about Elon Musk is that the script and they write these certain jokes about Elon Musk are just sly little comments. So, but they explained about, but they described Elon Musk like when Mr. Burns and his gay counterpart Smithers was like talking to him, and he's like, and Smithers was making all these side comments. If you did not know anything about Elon Musk, you would not understand that comedy.
So it's clever writing.
It's so research. Good. Yeah, it's so research. So I think like if they do that with that, just in that episode, right? Mm-hmm. There's tons of stuff I don't know about, like with the Simpsons, like the newer seasons. They make episodes that I don't find like, I'm like, okay, that's not as good as the original, right? But maybe I don't know enough about those side jokes that they're making.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. There could be a whole, man, this thing is, we got to get a new board. There could be a whole, like, an intelligence behind it that we just don't know because we're not into that thing.
Yeah, like Simpsons writing has not, I don't think it's gotten lazy.
No, it's just gotten, I think, too focused.
Too focused.
It's too focused on a certain aspect of whatever they're writing about.
Yeah, if, like that episode was written for like people who knew more about Elon Musk.
Yeah,
like deep down, right? So I understand like you can make generic, like it's very hard to make generic comedy like stuff on The Simpsons, right? It has to be about something, right? Yeah. Because back then we were spoiled when we were back then.
I mean, like it just seemed like every episode was just gold. But you're right, it was. I mean, and there was a lot of focus writing there as well. But I mean. There was no topical writing about this. I'm gonna murder this whole thing. I'm gonna take this particular piece of equipment. I'm gonna throw it out the window, or I'm just gonna open it up and fix it.
But you know what? This thing is a workhorse. This workhorse. This thing has gotten us through.
I've got a lot of crap. Yeah. This thing has traveled the world with us and done a lot of work with us, and then stayed here on the desk in this spot, and then slowly started to really piss me off. But it has been a workhorse. This little guy was never meant to do the amount of work that it did.
No, but the thing is, once we're done with this. Put it under glass.
This is the first one.
Exactly.
It's definitely it's never gonna get thrown out.
Yeah, this reminds me of that Top Gear episode when they tried to kill the Toyota.
Oh yeah, no. This is the unkillable Toyota.
Yeah, exactly. So when it's done, it deserves a place on your mantle.
Oh yeah, I mean the Stig can drive this as hard as he wants, and it will not die.
Yeah, I bet you anything you'd left that on fire. If you just put the smoke out, it would still work.
It would light its own cigarette onto it and be good to go.
Exactly.
Oh, focused episode like the monorail. There was nothing happening in the world at the time where you had to write about a monorail.
No, it's
Conan O'Brien just had a really fun idea.
That actually I have a picture on my Facebook feed with like Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
And he's at a train station. And it says monorail, and he's like this. He's like like that.
Right?
I put it as my profile picture.
That's pretty rad, man. But like that's just it. You're not going to get that from The Simpsons anymore. It just seems like all their writing is really, really focused.
Yeah, because if you took that idea and you brought it in now, people were like, "What the fuck? What?" Like you go into the writers' room, guys. I got an idea for a monorail episode, right? Mm-hmm. Monorail had everything. It was an old school episode written and produced by Conan O'Brien. Yep. And it had fucking Phil Hartman in it.
Yeah, I mean, it was really it was the what do they call it? The 5-tool player.
Yeah.
Of the Simpsons episodes.
That's exactly what it was.
It is the 5-tool player of the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like when you look back at all the like the hallmarks that episode
Leonard
hits.
Nimoy was in it.
Leonard Nimoy is in it. There's a Batman reference.
Yeah.
There's a weird ass scientist. Phil Hartman's in it. It's got a song that you still can remember.
Exactly.
And it's got the whole, like, it's got little like quirks too. Monorail. Like there are weird little things that happen. Still. Like it was a really good episode. There were so many gold ones like that back then that you just don't get anymore because, again, like maybe I should say maybe it's gotten too topical.
Yeah, I think, and also like Simpsons. My favorite thing about the Simpsons though is it's just Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Treehouse of Horror up until like the last 10.
Yeah.
And even then, they kind of have their moments.
They do, yeah. Like it's just the earlier ones are so memorable. Like I think I told you like on Halloween.
Oh yeah.
I binged like I watched 1, 2, 3. I watched 5 in a row.
How to Eat 40 Humans.
Yeah.
They're all so good.
Oh, there's more dust on this.
Oh man. No, it was How to Cook 40 Humans.
How to cook for 40 humans.
How to Cook for 40 Humans.
I guess I was wrong.
There's more space dust on this.
Let me get this straight. You thought we were actually going to eat you?
God, Kang and Kodos. And then James Earl Jones was the one who was going to be the cook, right? Mm-hmm. So many good ones. So many like hits in that thing.
Oh yeah.
There is some like cool stuff going on in animation right now though. The Scooby-Doo movie is coming out and it actually looks not bad. Like
yeah.
I mean as an old school Scooby-Doo fan,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
I love old school Scooby-Doo.
I mean, that was kind of like, it was before our time, during our time, and then it kind of fizzled out as we aged.
Yeah.
So, like, we were kind of like the last real group, I think, that hung on to it.
I think, yeah.
Until James Gunn wrote that movie, which is not that bad.
Yeah. I think
the James Gunn Scooby-Doo is not bad.
Yeah. That's actually not too bad because I actually forced myself to watch it because it was just him.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to get like a cell. Like the ones when they're all
animation
running when they're all running away from like whoever's chasing them and it's the same. And like all of them are just running in like in one team, and they're running away from whoever's chasing them, whatever ghoul's chasing them.
Whatever the ghoul is, the headless horseman.
That image reminds me of Scooby-Doo.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like it's all of them in mid-run, and they have that thing where it's like floating up, like it's chasing them in a float.
Yeah,
yeah, that's so good. Like all Scooby-Doo was so good, and this new movie doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
It looks like they're gonna give him a cool origin story. It's got like Dynamite in it. It's got the Blue Falcon. Like it's got a bunch of weird stuff in it that are all relevant to Hanna-Barbera too. Mm-hmm. Tracy Morgan's in it. It seems like it's gonna be really fun.
I think and even like the
Frank Welker's doing the voice of Scooby.
There you go. Yeah.
Right.
Megatron.
It's gonna be great.
There's actually one of my favorite because remember they had those hour long kind of movies. Yep. What was your favorite one?
Batman. I love it when they go with Batman and Robin, the Justice League one.
That's a good one.
Where Scooby and they all get together.
Yeah, what year did that one come? How old was that one?
But that was before you were born, man. I think that's got to be like 73 or 74.
Yeah, actually, one of my favorite one. It's by no means the best one, but it is my favorite. Is Scooby-Doo and the Reluctant Werewolf.
That's a good one too.
I love that one.
I do feel like we are losing the audience right now though, because we're nerding out about stuff that maybe not everybody cares about.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
People born post 85 might not even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, like that one, because I love even those Hanna-Barbera ones. Like remember those the Olympics with like Flintstones, Captain Caveman, and like all those ones. I loved watching those because like when I stumbled upon them when I was like in the 80s, I was on Saturday morning. It's like a cartoon that never ended because you always for a cartoon would be like half an hour.
You would have like maybe 15 minutes of story.
Yeah.
Over a half an hour.
Yeah.
And that was like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
that was going.
I'm like, holy crap, this thing is so long. I'm like, and they're 80s
cartoons
shit.
like. Honestly, like the cartoons from 60 to 85 were just rad.
Yeah.
Like like you said, it was an embarrassment of riches. Yeah. We had so much good stuff that we didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
And now we don't have it. We look back so fondly on it. Mm-hmm. Even the Spider-Man, we look back at that and we think, man, it was so good.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that I didn't, like Spider-Man Has Amazing Friends, those were garbage, right? You go back to the 60s and 70s, even like the Ralph Bakshi stuff. That stuff was...
Ralph Bakshi's a legend.
He's a legend.
I don't think anybody knows what Fritz the Cat is. I mean, these days, it's like you'll see that or like the Keep On Trucking guy.
Yeah.
And you see those like that imagery and they just have no idea. Like Speed Demon. They have no idea what they're missing out on, man.
Yeah, because
Fire and Ice.
Fire and Ice. Yeah. There's because I was watching, actually I just watched Fritz the Cat like maybe a couple of months ago. And it's a disturbing I love it, but it's like
it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end.
It is,
and it's dark.
It's dark as hell.
It's like it's got pornography and hookers and heroin.
Yeah.
And Fritz is a mess.
He's a mess.
It is
hooked on drugs, trying to find meaning.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is pure satire of what people in his social station in the real world were doing. And it's kind of sold to you this goofy, like, he's just a dumb cat.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he's got real problems.
Yeah,
and he needs help.
Yeah, like
he needs social assistance real fucking bad.
I know that actually. What I stopped watching that. Like when I first saw it, I stopped watching it right up to that time when, like, you know, the rabbit, who has the swastika on,
yeah,
and his girlfriend is on the back, and he, like, I thought he was like, did he beat her?
He beats the crap out of them.
Yeah. When I saw that when I was young, I was like, I just stopped it.
It was too bizarre, man.
I can't watch this, man. This is too much, right?
It was not a cartoon.
But right after that part,
yep,
the movie gets
funny. It gets funny.
It gets funny
right after that. Right after that, it's actually not too. If you can get through that part,
yeah,
it's not bad.
Yeah.
But those cartoons too, like what was it? Heavy Metal.
Heavy Metal.
They were super well done. Like the rotoscoping, whatever aside, but like they look great, man.
Yeah, and Heavy Metal that's a Canadian production. Like,
yep.
Yeah, and like the Eugene Levy, like John Candy, all SCTV people. They're all
Cabby.
They're all in there, right? So, it's all that stuff just started from somewhere.
It's really good. Have you read Black Sad at all?
Yeah,
man. If you're a fan of like that type,
you told me to read that.
I might have, man. I was really big on it a few years ago. I was reading it a lot again. But if you're a fan of all of what we just talked about, that weird animation style, Heavy Metal, Fritz the Cat, all that stuff, like anthropomorphic animal Nazis and shit.
Yeah.
Like Black Sad is right up your alley.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it's like what's his name, Grandino, the guy who he's the actual artist.
Yeah.
God, I can't. His name is right in the tip of my head. His art in that it's like Disney on steroids, but it's just beautiful stuff.
It's so detailed.
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
Like you could be looking at that one panel of Mardi Gras. Is the one with the one fox.
Yeah,
his ex-girlfriend dies.
Yeah,
and he finds her.
Yeah, that's right.
And the snake, he's gonna chase him down the street. And you look at that whole thing that's happening. That like I could stare at that as a piece of art on a wall. It's such good stuff.
Oh yeah, there's even like, did you know that Ralph Bakshi did the original Lord of the Rings?
Yep. Yeah. The John Hurt
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still have that on VHS.
I think everybody's got a copy of that somewhere.
I have to. Yeah,
man, there's a lot of good stuff. In line with current animation, have you seen the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog, the new trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Man, okay, have you seen the new one, or have you seen the?
I saw the newest one.
The newest one,
because I knew they had to redo
the horror show.
The horror show
that was the original Sonic. When is the last time in recent memory that you can think of when a studio is like, we done fucked up bad, like? Stop it. Stop the presses. Let's go back. Let's redo the whole thing.
Not to this degree.
It seems like the entire thing.
Yeah.
They reshot a bunch of scenes. They reanimated an entire character, the main character, from the top down.
Think how much that cost. And to render everything and how much time it took.
Holy crap.
Like, as an animator, like, think about that.
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, this is not the kind of thing where you just take a wireframe and there's be like, yeah, we'll just tweak it a little bit and we'll do. No, they rebuilt an entire character. They added him back into scenes where he's interacting with a world that they've built.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, the rendering time alone.
Yeah.
And I try to render I've got a good unit, but I try to render 4K video here in a rush for somebody's like, can you change a bunch of stuff for me? I do it. I'm like, yeah, but I really hate you right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So they went and redid the entire thing. No, but granted, they were given a new deadline.
Yeah.
They probably told like, time and money is no object.
Yeah.
Let's just do it right. But it seems like in that we're gonna get a really good Sonic movie.
I think so too. Yeah.
I don't think I've been this childlike watching a trailer in a long time.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's. Yeah, I'm gonna give that movie a chance.
Oh, 100%. I'm gonna give that more of a chance than anything Star Wars or Terminator or anything.
Speaking of Star Wars.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
How was it? Is it out yet?
No. It's not out yet. But I'm going to say this. Mandalorian episode 1 is better than any Star Wars.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is out. Number one is out.
Oh, yeah. That's
yeah.
Mandalorian is that one episode is better than any Star Wars movie I've seen in a long time.
Heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than the actual movies. I loved it. Okay, Rogue One is a different thing, right? But like
now Rogue One in since Return of the Jedi is my favorite. Like out of all the stuff that's out there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Rogue One, I think, is just like.
I think it's the best.
It's the best
because I actually cared about everyone in that movie.
100%.
To some degree.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I was not annoyed by anybody. I cared about them all.
Yeah.
I wanted to see where the story was going to go. Yeah. I felt sad when the movie ended.
Yeah, and they all died.
They all died.
They all died. So like,
and Darth Vader such a great
just
scene.
Wrecked everybody, right?
Yeah.
So they did like that movie was great. Mm-hmm. Like that's like, you know what? Because I would watch that because if I wanted to watch Star Wars, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start from I didn't even care about the original prequel trilogy, right? I didn't even care about that shit. I
just want to say that while you're saying all this,
yeah.
with your orange shirt and your like hoodie that's kind of leaned over, you have a very like big Darklighter thing going on right now. So I feel like I'm where I should be, listening to the right person talk about it. I'm in a very like nostalgic feel here.
Apparently, it's called Tech Copper.
Oh, well, it's working.
That's all it is. But like, I find that if I was gonna watch Star Wars, all I would do is I'd watch Rogue One. Mm-hmm. And I would watch, and then move on from there, and just go from like A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and I would just end there.
Return of the Jedi?
Probably not.
Not even.
No.
So it would be. Would you? I mean,
I have Return of the Jedi memorized.
Who doesn't? Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, what's the point, right?
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. But for new fans to get into it, I think you're right. I think it's like Rogue One is incredible.
Yeah.
New Hope is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back is just, it blows your mind.
It's one of the best sci-fi movies of all time.
Yeah, forget sequels. It's one of the best sci-fi movies of all time. And then Return of the Jedi, it is what it is. I mean, as a little kid, I loved it. As I got older and read more about it, I was disappointed in the way they could have gone. Mm-hmm. And then as an adult, I've made my peace with it.
Yeah, I'll say this. Star Wars is like A New Hope is a great movie. Empire Strikes Back is is an unreal movie. Return of the Jedi is it's an entertaining movie.
Yeah, it is.
It has great space battles. It has, I just think it's entertaining because even the Ewok, everyone hates the Ewoks. Don't get me wrong, right? But like, I just find that the way they talk, is hilarious. My brother and I used to imitate them all the time. Yeah, just like, and just the way they were acting, I'm like, this is so foolish. Why are these stupid little fucking critters in this movie, right?
But when you're 8 years old or when you're 7 years old. Like, you can't get enough of that shit.
You can't, yeah.
You can't get enough of that shit.
Yeah, so like, all the Ewoks in there, like, they're not, the word Ewok is not even mentioned in the movie.
No. That's just there because he took the word Wookiee and flipped it.
Yeah.
Because he was going to do Kashyyyk and have the Wookiees in there.
Yeah. And
they're like, no, it's horrible. We want to have cute and cuddly Disney crap.
Yeah.
And then he changed it into the Ewoks during production.
Yeah, so, like, it's more merchandising, obviously, right? So, so, because all those things, all Wookiees look the same, right? So, I think
Chewbacca's wife looks like Chewbacca.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, two animals that are just of the same sex just have this.
Whereas like the Ewoks, I'll give them that. Like Chief Chirpa does not look like Wicket.
No,
they all look different.
Yeah, and they're kind of cute the way they walk like little Frankensteins, but like but they're the way they talk and like the way they communicate is hilarious. It's so funny.
It's funny.
And when they sing, they're like, oh yeah, yeah.
But the thing too, like I said, I've gone through all stages with that movie. Uh-huh. When you look at the way they actually act and the way they interact with each other and the other characters, they all have distinct personalities. Mm-hmm. They have a goal.
Yeah.
Their story has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Like they're not a waste of storyline.
Yeah, they're not. They're just they were.
You genuinely care about them.
Yeah, like when I first watched it, when the Ewoks were like when they were getting killed and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were like, oh, okay, those furry little bastards.
Furry little freaks are getting murdered.
Yeah, they're getting murdered, right? But like when they turn the tide and they use that, the two logs hit that thing and then they crush it and stuff. I'm just like
how did you get them up there?
Yeah, and they're throwing rocks at the stormtroopers who have this plastic like armor. Like how the fuck are those guys getting hurt? I remember one guy hit that they're throwing those rocks with the rope and then they throw it at the stormtrooper. It hits him in the head and he's like, oh, grabs his head and he falls down. That took me out of the movie.
There's a lot of that.
But that took me out as I got older, right? So but when you're a kid,
when you're a little kid, that's the greatest thing you've seen.
Exactly. So I think the problem with Return of the Jedi is that it did not withstand the test of time as the other two movies did.
for you, not you, but for you as a human, as a a movie watcher.
Yeah,
it doesn't age with you well.
No, not at all. Like
there's plot holes as you get older.
Yeah, and it's not the movie. It's just like certain scenes in the movie.
That's just it.
Yeah, there's because the whole thing with Luke and and Darth Vader and the Emperor and stuff like that.
It's all good.
It's all good.
That belongs in a much different movie.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And
it's all good.
Yeah, and the first scene when they kill Jabba and then it's crazy like that. The movie
it's really fun.
It's shot so well.
Yeah.
And
Mark Hahn, he did a bang up job.
Yeah.
Every director. I mean, that's the thing I kind of feel bad about when people still shit on George Lucas. Yeah, he kind of screwed 3 movies up.
Yeah.
He kind of did. But now when you look at those 3 movies, you kind of look back at them fondly too.
Yeah.
Like we forgive those movies, and anybody who's like, I don't forgive those movies. I'm like, well, you're not looking at it objectively.
No.
Like, just take a step back and look at what he was trying to do and forget about all the weird crap he put into New Hope and Empire and Jedi and just look at what he tried to accomplish with those movies.
Yeah.
He made a bunch of missteps, but at the end of the day, we do kind of look back at him fondly.
Yeah, look like if you look at the grand scale, look at what he created.
Mm-hmm.
Look his
pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, in 3 movies, he changed culture.
Yeah.
You can't say that about The Godfather.
No, The Godfather just added on to what was already there.
Yeah, you can't say that about Raiders of the Lost Ark, Back to the Future. You can't say that about those movies, right?
No.
This movie, Star Wars, changed culture.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in the way they were made, in just like one-liners and zingers that you still kind of use.
Yeah, and
fellow.
Yeah, exactly.
We still say weird crap, right?
Yeah, and it came out at the right time, right after the Vietnam War. Like and there was Hollywood was starving for new directors, and then out of University of California, there was all these great directors there who were just like George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, all those guys were just there, and they just were thinking what can we do?
There were a lot of cool. Movies. It wasn't right after Nam, but it was influenced by. There's always that lull that happens after a war. What do we do now?
Yeah,
let's tell our stories, man.
Yeah, right after because there was a real disconnect between because they were just getting out of the Vietnam War and the culture in the United States was very negative. It was people wanted a reason to not celebrate, but
they wanted to be distracted.
They want to be distracted, right? Along comes these guys with these movies.
Yeah.
It changed
Jaws.
everything. Yeah, Jaws.
I mean, Apocalypse Now, Jaws, Star
Alien,
Wars, Alien.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of really cool stuff that happens, from say 1972 to 1985.
Yeah.
There's a crazy because I'm weird like that. I always feel like a decade ends around 80, 2 to 5. The 70s didn't end in 1980. The 70s still kind of influenced some movies all the way up until 1982, 1983.
Yeah, there's no 70 to 80 then.
And then it just stops.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't do that.
No, things gradually come in and then they get phased out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why there are certain movies in the early 80s or the early 90s that are 80s movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Home Alone, Ninja Turtles. We still kind of feel like they're 80s movies.
Yeah, they have an 80s vibe to them, right? Because they're dirty. They're they don't look that great, but
TMNT 1 is gritty.
Yeah.
It's just such a dark, gritty movie. Mm-hmm. So there is that. Oh, speaking of sequels. To transition out, unless you got something else there.
No, go ahead. Yeah, moving on.
I saw Split. I had not watched it. I was on the old crave there, looking for something to watch and glasses on it.
Yeah.
And then Split's on Netflix. So I just went over because, that's what I do without, I got nothing else to watch. Mm-hmm. So I went over and watched Split. And I was pleasantly surprised. Did not expect it to be what it was. I really didn't know much about it at all beyond that it had ties to Unbreakable. I knew that it was a quote unquote sequel, but I didn't know how much of a sequel, so I didn't really look for that.
Yeah.
But man, that McAvoy,
he's unreal,
unbelievable that movie. I mean, you genuinely believe every time he changes to a different character, he is that person.
Character, yeah.
Yeah, it was really well done.
Unbelievable. He's that's James McAvoy he's such an underrated actor.
Oh, dude,
he's unreal.
Absolutely.
Him as Professor X, honestly, he's the reason why I watched some of those X-Men movies.
I mean, he's the best part of Apocalypse.
Easily.
X-Men Apocalypse is garbage.
That's borderline unwatchable.
You're right.
Yeah.
It is a borderline unwatchable movie.
Yeah, it's not Justice League, but it's it's so close.
Yeah, no, he's really good in that.
Yeah.
But as far as Split goes, I believed everything that was going on in that, and I was worried about the characters who were in it. I didn't think that the characters who were in it were I guess what's the word? They weren't selling victim they were selling like a person who's stuck in a position where like we got to get out, we all got to work together. Let's find a way to get out of here. And McAvoy was just like every single moment where he had to kind of like either appease all those characters or scare one of those characters.
Yeah.
Like when he's a little kid and he just wants to do dance moves. Like that poor kid. That poor fucking kid. He just wants somebody to have dance moves with.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You thought that window was the way out? Ah, you played me. What the hell? I'm like, poor guy.
Are you gonna watch Glass?
That's next. Yeah. Probably tomorrow night. I got the night off, so I'm probably gonna pop Glass on and give that a go.
You're watching it here?
Probably gonna watch it here. Yeah. You thinking about doing a movie night or what?
Yeah, you want to? I haven't seen it.
Why not, man? I haven't seen it either. Come on down tomorrow, like around this time. We'll watch. We'll throw Glass on and see how that goes.
Okay.
Because that's gonna be my watchy watch. Because I'm really excited to see how that's gonna go now, especially with the connection to Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Man,
are you working tomorrow?
No, tomorrow in the daytime. Yeah.
Daytime. Okay.
I got the day on. So tomorrow night I got the night off. I've got a little bit of work to do later on, but I have enough time. I got 2.5 hours in the middle.
Okay.
I'm just gonna pop that movie on and let's give it a watch.
Cool. All right. Moving on.
Moving on. I think for the most part we've kind of hit all the stuff we wanted to hit, and then So okay, well this one's bullshit. I was gonna make fun of Roland Emmerich because he like sided with Scorsese about the whole like Marvel movies are junk cinema. They're not real cinema.
They are junk cinema.
And then he makes a movie like Midway, and then that's the writer there, that J.D. Simpkins, he writes for the Military Times, just destroyed that movie Midway. He's like a Military Times writer. And he's like, let me tell you something. Here's why this movie is a steaming pile of shit, and here's what I think of it. And he just goes on to like eviscerate Roland Emmerich, which made me think like Roland Emmerich probably wanted to direct a Marvel movie. They're like, no, go away.
Go away.
And now he's like, oh, you know what? Marvel movies are not cinema, so good. I didn't want you anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna kin movies to food. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, so let's say coming from Martin Scorsese. Okay, his movie is like going to go eat at Aubergine when Gordon Ramsay was running it. Okay.
All right.
Okay, so that's food. Okay.
Well, that's art.
That's art. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to like a 3 Michelin star place, yeah, you go see. That's what a Scorsese movie is, right? Mm-hmm. So think about like Goodfellas. Think about Taxi Driver. Yeah. Think about Raging Bull. Okay. So that's art. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that the Marvel movies are not art. Okay. Like they're very because I know the amount of work that goes into those movies is crazy, right? Mm-hmm. But in the end, it's junk food.
Absolutely.
It's junk food.
But in my mind, it's not McDonald's. It's like Burger's Priest. It's like it's a finely crafted burger.
Yeah,
by people who genuinely care about burgers.
Yeah, it is a motion picture. Yep. It is a movie, but they're just not like they're just different. You know, like I'm not gonna watch a Scorsese movie for the action.
No, and I'm not gonna eat at Ramsay's restaurant every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Meanwhile, I'm at Burger's Priest a lot.
Exactly.
And I enjoy it.
I will watch. I'll watch the Incredible Hulk.
The Edward Norton Incredible Hulk.
The Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, but like
he's on a bit of a renaissance these days too. Norton, his new movie is doing really well. He's on the Rogan podcast. He's kind of back.
Yeah, did you hear the podcast?
I did. I enjoyed it. It's a very listen to ours first, beginning to end.
Ours is way better.
Ours is way better. Yeah. But at the same time, when you're done with ours, there's this kid out there, Rogan. Joey, I think, and he had Edward Norton on, and that's also a very good episode of his program.
And I like how, like Edward Norton is one of my favorite actors. Mm-hmm. But I think with Edward Norton, he's a very well-rounded human being. He's highly intelligent.
The dude had a major part in a Ridley Scott movie and chose to not have his face shown or his name in the credits because it would take you out of the movie.
Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah. Like in a time when you're like, when you've got actors who really want their face on TV, Ben Affleck's Daredevil barely wears a mask, all that kind of shit, right? This is a dude who's like, you know what? I'll wear the mask the entire time. I'll alter my voice a bit and don't put me in the credits. Yeah. Because it'll take people out of the movie.
The thing is, I bet you anything he wouldn't have done that if Ridley Scott wasn't directing the movie.
He wouldn't have done the movie.
He wouldn't have done the movie.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So, because he's a devoted actor. Yeah. He's a pure actor.
Yeah, he's an artist.
Yeah. So people like everyone says like, oh, like Edward Norton, he's Edward Norton. No, he's not.
No.
That's like he's so good at what he does.
The narrator is as different as the king, like
as the king. Exactly,
He's not Edward Norton in every movie.
No, he's not, and he just has like a very like distinct nasally voice, right? But he's so good at what he does, and he's also it's not just intelligent about like acting and like just academics. He's just naturally intelligent. Like even when he talks about like fighting and UFC and like
he knows what he's talking about.
He knows what he's talking about.
And if he doesn't, he'll learn about it.
Yeah. I was just watching it, and I started from the beginning. I watched the entire thing.
It was a good one. It's a good one to sit through.
Yeah, because there's certain people when you listen to them talk, is like you just glue. You're like, wow, I want to listen to this, right? So like,
I hope that like 1 hour is actually 3 hours.
Yeah. And so I did this. Like it was the Elon Musk one is easily my favorite one, and then his latest one that Joe Rogan had which was excellent. And just personally speaking, because I have a vested interest in this, was the guy from the Chappelle Show.
Yeah, it was Donnell Rawlings.
Yeah, that guy and the RZA.
Oh, was he on?
He was on.
When was he on?
They were on. I think RZA was there for like
like a portion of that podcast,
like most of it, right? And
really, I had no idea.
And so RZA was on there, and he's just making notes while he was. And at the end of the podcast, he was there for the entire time. I think he had a separate one, but like at the end, RZA just spits a verse, and then he's like, "Fuck." Then Joe Rogan's like, "Holy shit, what a way to end off!"
Oh, that's a good ending.
Yeah, because RZA is like,
I did not know.
Yeah, he's a hero of mine.
Well, you're a huge Wu-Tang fan.
Yeah,
I think we have an episode dedicated to your love for the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, fuck.
They ain't nothing to mess with.
Yeah,
they're pretty rad. Mm-hmm. Before we go on to the next segment of this podcast, which is a call-in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of the CW stuff you've been watching.
I have not, no.
But Crisis is coming.
Crisis is coming.
It's like it's on the doorstep now. But they named Joker in Batwoman,
mm-hmm.
and it is Jack Napier. They kind of stuck with that.
That's right.
So it seems
I knew
like
that, yeah.
that is the Batman
mm-hmm.
of this world. The Batman of this one, because they have the photo of the newspaper article where it shows Michael Keaton and it says billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne marries Selena Kyle. Mm-hmm. So they get married in this world, and it seems like Jack Napier, the Jack Nicholson Joker, is their Joker too, or at least in some sense, right?
Oh, okay.
So we don't know how old he is or how old Batman is, but they definitely are the Batman of this world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in some way.
In some way.
Yeah, which is really cool. I'm super jazzed about that. I like that kind of thing.
Actually, you know what? I was actually in before I came here. I actually went to I had some time to kill, so I just went into. I went to Starbucks, but the one by Mills Town Center. So I actually walked inside Mills Town Center.
Oh wow! How was that?
I haven't been there in like 10 years.
Flashback.
If not more than that.
I'm there a lot.
It's like I
Game
can't.
City's in there.
Okay, so like I went to that Game City.
Yeah.
And I went to Warp 3 Comics.
Yeah,
that is it.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine where else you would go.
Where else would you?
You're not going to go to
right?
the shoe store, and
exactly. There was nothing there, and actually, there's a lot of like closed stores there.
There's a bunch. Yeah. I mean, they had a weird thing kind of happen when they shut down that one whole half of the mall.
Yeah.
They were getting super local now, but they put a Good Life Fitness in there.
Yeah.
And it kind of closed off that segment of the mall, and so like a lot of things died off. But I mean, it still thrives on. Like, they have like local things like Shoppers Drug Mart and all that kind of crap.
Oh yeah.
But like I'm in that Game City a lot because I still play Nintendo, so I play a lot of those. And then the bookstore, they got a really cool bookstore. Warp 3, isn't it?
Yeah,
the Kohl's.
that's right. And,
so there's a bunch of stuff there still.
Yeah, I saw the two books I was gonna get
At Warp.
At Warp, yeah. They were having a D&D night or whatever.
They play the board games on the side there.
Yeah.
I don't hate that, man.
I don't hate that at all.
I'm all for it.
I know. The thing is, you know what the thing is?
Those kids have a social life.
No. You know what it was? The reason I made that sound is because I walked in there and that's the first thought I had was like, oh, look at these dorks. And then I was like, then I caught myself. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like these guys are like, look at these guys are having fun.
They're having a great time.
And they're eating A&W. They could eat in there. And they're just chilling out playing games they love.
It's
That's
like
awesome.
15 friends getting together once a week and playing video games or playing board games and eating fast food.
Yeah, like friend of the show, Jamie. Like she goes plays D&D. I always like make fun of it, but at the same time, I respect it. I'm like,
shit!
Great.
Past and future co-host Dan, James LeComber, and Ghost.
It's
Ghostly Greg.
I can't participate in that. I'm jealous. I'm just jealous of their happiness.
I totally get. I think whenever somebody makes a sound like that, like look at these nerds.
Yeah,
it's like you want to be those people.
You want to be those people.
You want to be those nerds.
Yeah, it's like it's one echelon above like playing Monopoly with your friends.
Exactly that. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So
whatever, man.
But the reason I was in there, I went in there because I haven't been there in like years, is that I almost bought Dark Knight Metal.
Oh yeah.
And the Batman Who Laughs.
That's not too bad at all. Those are good purchases.
I was gonna get them.
Didn't do it. trigger was not pulled.
I wasn't sure if I'm pretty sure it was a thick book. It was about an inch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that's the entire story.
I think that's a segment. That's probably a major segment of the story. But the whole metal thing was like a year-long event.
Yeah, so I want to get
through multiple titles.
That's the thing, is I didn't want to because all those guys, even the people who were working there, they were invested this. There he goes. Oh man, you got to cast a spell, man.
They were too involved.
They were way too. Yeah, I couldn't speak their language, so I just said, you know what, fuck it, I'll just see if I can.
I've got a plus 12 dex modifier.
Yeah, these guys were hardcore into it. They all had long hair and long beards and unkept, and they were just saying
they're having so much fun.
Fuck, man, these guys were having a ball.
They're down the street. I'm gonna start playing D&D with these guys, man.
Fuck,
or Magic the Gathering, or what the hell they're doing, because they all seem like they're having a really good time.
Yeah, man, it's you couldn't. Ah, fuck, man.
But that's why I do the Game City and stuff. The reason I'm in Game City so much is I go in there and I talk to the guys who run the store. I talk about video games and talk about new games that are coming out, like the new company making that the new Game Boy, the lit up lithium powered 6-button Game Boy. Oh my god, it's beautiful. But those are the things I still enjoy talking to people about when they know what I'm talking about. This is what we're doing here. This is the same thing, man. It's identical. So we should stop shitting on those people.
Yeah,
stop shitting on those people.
Yeah, man, they have feelings too.
They have feelings too. We are going to. I think we'll see how long the next one goes. If the next one isn't that long, we're just gonna add it to this. If not, then this is probably the music, and we're gonna have another one of this week just thrown out there.
Sounds good.
Supplementary episode.
Yes.
So no more episode numbers. We're just doing random titles these days.
Perfect.
So that works out.
All right.
So stay tuned or at AG2.
At AG2.
Hey, hello, boys.
What's happening, buddy?
Not much. Just out here on the West Coast, keeping it down.
So we kind of get to be passengers on this particular
on this journey.
On this journey, I have heard a story, partially, of adventures that you've been having on the coast.
That is correct.
Well, I think now we're just gonna let you run wild, buddy.
Yeah, man. Just so.
Well, actually, we should set it up first. There is another podcast, a sister podcast, if you will. Do bad things to do good, and AG2, our buddy. Pardon?
That is correct. Inspired by you guys.
Oh well, I think if that's the case, then cool. I'm glad to be inspiring somebody into also joining the podcast world. But it's your baby. You came up with that. You got all the rest of the guys involved, and you've been doing that weekly on the West Coast. And there was a series of events that led up to
what you're going to talk about
what we're going to talk about today.
That is correct. So just a little bit of background. Got about 5 episodes in. Had some issues with the law because one of the people I interviewed is an ex-drug dealer who's suing the provincial government. And until that lawsuit is finished, he doesn't want to sign the release. He was one of those Surrey thug gangsters that you always hear about on the news.
Yeah.
I love those guys.
So that derailed plans a bit. But the episode that I did do, I interviewed an escort that I met due to a case of mistaken identity. She was there to meet a client. I was waiting for my wife. Our paths crossed. And, you guys can go listen to the podcast to see how that went. But I managed to convince her to sit down with me for an hour and a half and talk. And from there, somehow some drama students at the University of British Columbia heard the podcast. They're really impressed. They reached out and they wanted to put on a theater production of her life story.
That is pretty rad.
Yeah. So she came back to me and said, hey, I love the way you kind of narrated the story. Would you mind writing the drama play, screenplay, drama play, whichever way you want to call it?
The play, the stage play? What do they call it? They call it a...
So, as you know, I'm sort of partially retired out here, so I banged it out, no pun intended, and, wrote it, and they loved it. She loved it. And because of her connection, sort of the camming world, online camming world, and online sort of the pay-for-play sites that you have, what have you.
The self-made pornography kind of stuff?
Yeah. Pretty much. She kind of forwarded the stage play to a friend of hers who is a very famous porn star in the world named Alex Harper, and she loved it. And she reached out to me, called me, so now, my number's circulating out in the porn world, I guess, and said, hey, I'm coming down to Vancouver. I love the way listened to the podcast. I read the drama play, and I would love to sit down and talk to you as well because I've got a story to tell. Now, this is on the heels of that whole Mia Khalifa saying she only made $12,000 in porn.
Okay.
So Alex took a big offense to that and wanted to kind of set the record straight. So
on the kind of money that you could make.
Yeah, because she said that's absolute bullshit. She's just crying for attention. And I mean, you can hear the podcast once I get it edited and stuff. But after that, she had a good time. We smoked a few joints together, did the podcast. It was great. And then she said, "Hey, I'm back here in a 6 weeks." She's like, you just know how to tell a story. She's like, "Would you mind? I've got to do a film. I don't have a director. And would you mind directing a scene?"
All right.
I said, "Sure." I go, but
I feel like you really Forrest Gumped your way into this.
Yeah, you totally Forrest Gumped your way into this.
I would like to say Kramer, but Forrest Gump is.
Yeah, you fell ass backwards into porn.
Yeah, right?
So I kind of, she said, "Okay, why don't you come up with a scene? It's a girl shoot." And she's like, "Well, if you want to get involved, it's up to you." I kind of reiterated that I am married. My wife is capable of killing me in my sleep. As the funny thing is, this shit comes out after I'm married and settled down. Where was this 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. Wow.
The gods have forsaken me.
You would have been a monster 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Or a dud. Either way.
I think hopefully regardless you would let me pick your porn name.
Yeah, and Raju, we've in our youth we've dabbled in some sort of amateur stuff. We'll not talk about the shadow tapes that exist out there.
Wait, what?
The day we stole your dad's camcorder, but that'll remain. You guys can edit that out or not.
Well, I'm not going to edit any of this out. I'm going to ask more questions. What are you talking about?
Well,
so essentially, I said, okay, I want to tell a story. You know what? Art is art. Whether it's smut, whether it's a painting, it's got to evoke an emotion. Whether the emotion is I'm turned on, I'm disgusted, you got to do something. So I took the approach of I want to tell a story. An experienced woman getting together with another woman and introducing her to the world of woman-on-woman love. That's the approach I took.
That was the scene that you were going to write and direct and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Produce, write, direct, all the
Amar,
shebang.
AG2. So just sorry to interrupt. So are the two that are getting together, are they seasoned professionals, or is this one who knows what she's doing?
No, and I'll get to the part about casting the amateur with the professional. So
okay.
Alex, 18 million views on Pornhub, worldwide recognized major star in the world.
All right.
She wanted to be adamant that she wanted to be with a girl that's never done it, and it'd be her first time with a woman plus first time on camera. That was the storyline she wanted.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So, me having absolutely zero experience said, yeah, sure, I can do that.
Yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this you don't want this to be a missed opportunity.
And I thought to myself, I go, you know what? At least I'll learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Whether it be how camera works, how storyboarding works, whatever. So I downloaded Movie Storm. It's
jerk off standing up.
Yeah, that too.
Multitasking with the 4K camera.
Yeah. I did my research, so I downloaded Movie Storm. I said I'm going to use that to storyboard because I'm not an artist. I can't draw like yourself there, Mr. Sabe. So I thought I could just use Movie Storm because it does all the illustrations and camera angles for you.
Yep.
Because it's only it's easy to use, cost me a bit of money, but I thought I could use it for a later project that's non-XXX related that I'm thinking about in 2020.
You're future thinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's an investment. So I did that, and then Victoria reached out to me and says, well, do you know where you're going to find the other co-star? And I said, no. She's like, do you know any idea how this works, how talent agencies work or whatever? Mm-hmm. I said, no, not at all. She's like, okay. So she sent me a link to a website where it's like a job board for wannabe adult actresses and actors.
That's fascinating.
So she's like, sign up for this, and you can just say you're in Victoria or Vancouver, and then people will contact you and you can interview them and pick your girl.
Jeez.
Sounds like a glorified support group.
It's like LinkedIn for dick.
For dick, yeah. Or the people who are just hooked onto sex. Yeah.
Call it Dick Dan.
Yeah, exactly.
Dick Dan.
Yeah, it's Dick Dan.
Dick Dan.
Yeah, you know what? You pretty much got it bang on. I
Pun
signed
intended.
up for this message board.
Yeah.
And, I foolishly put my normal Gmail on there, real name.
Oh, buddy. Rookie mistake.
Which is connected
Well,
to
he's a
my
rookie.
phone.
Yep.
And I think my Gmail had 300 messages when I went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
The following morning was 135.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
Okay. There's a lot of horny motherfuckers out there.
Yeah, a lot of people that want to
make money, right?
Make money.
I might say 40 were dudes that misinterpreted what my ad said. I was man love.
Oh.
So a lot of dick pics. I'd say I got a lot of dicks that look some look nice, some did not.
I love that it's not even a matter of a dick pic trying to hit on you. It's a dick pic auditioning.
Yeah, it's a very it's a professional picture.
It's a professional audition dick pic.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy, 4K shot, lit properly, extended just right,
groomed properly.
Yeah. I learned more about taking a dick pic in that morning over my coffee than I ever could.
You know what? I bet you anything those guys shot like 20 pics and they sent you the right one.
You got the best of multiple takes of dick pics.
Yeah, they're like, can you imagine that one like out of let's say the ones that didn't work. They're like, this one makes me look sad.
Professional lighting, no sad dicks.
Yeah.
All happy cock.
Yeah. Yeah, just look at it.
40 of them.
This one makes me look like I have a headache. Like, I don't want this one.
Yeah. No, bingo. And you know what? I looked through each one, then I realized, wait a second, I'm supposed to find a girl. I got distracted.
I mean, that's a weird rabbit hole too, right? All of a sudden, you're getting professional dick pics just because these guys either want a job or they think there's something else involved, but they've taken the time.
My wife's comment, I'll just say was, she's like, something's wrong with you, and then she took off to work.
Oh my god! But she knew what you were doing. Like, she knew this was a job.
Did she know about this?
I'll add that as a bookend to this.
Okay, wait.
All right.
Okay, you know what? Okay, we'll see that for the ending.
That was an interesting conversation, to say the least. So then I finally got to the woman and sorted through a lot of pictures. And then the good part came. Then tits and ass and all this stuff popped up. And I'm like, now we're rocking, right?
Wow.
And found a girl from here in Victoria. Beautiful young lady named Peyton Princess. Never done it before, brand new. Happens to live 10 minutes away.
Bonus.
And so contacted her. She was super excited. I said, let's meet for a drink and talk. I'll let you know about my project. So I called Nikki. I said, I found a person. She's like, did you like the dick pics? Because she told me what to click. She did it on purpose, that bitch.
Oh.
Set me up.
That's like a little bit of hazing.
I know, man. I hate it when you get set up for dick.
So I met
the bane of my existence.
I met this young lady, 21 years old. She's a former gymnast, and I met her for a drink. Half my age, still perfect. I was a creepy porn producer in a matter of seconds.
That's some casting couch weird shit.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So the best part is she shows up with her boyfriend.
Well, I mean, it's a job, right?
It's a job.
Yeah. So they sit down. I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Met a lovely, beautiful-looking man as well. Now I appreciate men, so I got to point it out, right? So she's like, okay. So she's like, I'm really excited. I'm excited about the money and all that. She's like, did you want to do a trial run with me first without the camera to see my skills? And I'm like, trial run?
Jesus.
And the boyfriend looks to me and goes, well, okay, you can fuck her, just don't come in her.
Holy
like,
mackerel.
Whoa.
This is, I mean, what a bizarre introduction into the world of pornography. Like, this is the kind of stuff that you think happens, but you don't think happens.
Oh, it happened. She came ready to sleep.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, as
I'm
long
not
as you have
surprised by
your
this.
testing done, you don't have to use a condom. I'm like, okay, time out. So I turned red, and you know how hard it is for someone of our skin complexion to turn red.
Oh, yeah, that's not easy.
Yeah. So I said, hey, guys, not that kind of scene. That I explained, here's what I'm thinking. And she got really excited. She's like, I've never been with a girl. I'm like, well, you're what we're looking for. So he says, oh, okay, dude. But if you still need to fuck her, you can. I won't get mad, I promise.
Jeez, man.
You should have got those two to fuck. Like,
yeah.
And,
you got a boyfriend right here.
Yeah, your boyfriend's right there. Let's see what you two got.
And that backside tack, the boyfriend showing up on a porn set is always a bad idea, right?
Always a bad idea, man.
Yeah, that's probably not something you want to happen.
Well, yeah, just the previous story. Yeah, you don't want the boyfriend to show up.
Yeah, that can be another podcast.
Yeah.
That's much longer.
Well, let's go with this one for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So introduced them both. got everything set up, and now it is set to film tomorrow.
Oh, so this is happening like live. This is going on right now.
Right. So because Alex is coming in, she's coming in for she's doing a magazine shoot for a marijuana magazine. She's a huge marijuana activist, wants to make it federally legal in the U.S. because it's not. But then after that, it's go time. So I've got my lights and my 4K camera set up and everything, and storyboard ready to go. So yeah, as of tomorrow, I lose my innocence, I guess, all over again.
Oh wow, man, that's got to be like you said, that's gonna be a weirdly exciting thing to be a part of, though. All of a sudden, you're in this. This is the first time you've been anywhere near this kind of a set.
Second porn set, actually. That's
Second.
the previous story.
Well, that was the other one. I've kind of got the gist of that story. We'll go on to that one next time. But like it's still pretty cool though, because this is like the second one seemed to be more of a gong show.
Yeah.
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 And this one seems to be more.
This is a controlled environment.
This is a legit. This is legit business.
Yeah, it's a nice condo overlooking the harbor and the ocean view in the mountains, so that's good. And I've got the white sheets ready to go. I've got the set design set up. It's very contemporary, so we'll see. And I will send you a signed copy, my friends, so you can display it in the podcast.
For sure, yeah.
Sounds good. Amar, if I can give you any advice on this, if you're going to be behind the camera, if you need some inspiration, I don't mean the ending of it, but watch American Psycho when when Patrick Bateman is videotaping those two girls.
Yeah.
Right before he kills both of them.
Well, don't play that on a screen in the room.
Yeah, Lisa, get on your knees so she can look into your asshole. Be very matter of fact when you're on set.
I will say one of my storyboards is inspired from that scene directly, but not exactly. It's inspired by that scene.
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
Get them.
We'll see. You
should
offered me $1,500 US to do this, by the way. I turned down the money.
That's not bad at all.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'll just do it. She said, okay, that's up to you. I'm like, oh, let's just smoke a joint afterwards and we'll call it even. She's like, yeah, no problem. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You're not taking the money?
No.
Oh, dude, rookie mistake. Take the money.
Nah, I mean, I guess so, but I mean.
It's a business, man. I'm not saying that in a way of being like, oh yeah, you should definitely take the money. I'm saying like it's a business. Well, you are doing a job.
That is true. But just do whatever's in your heart that you feel is right.
Yeah, but no, actually, what I want to do is because, like I said, I have a non-XXX project coming up that I think Alex, who's a very intelligent lady, by the way.
Yeah.
Despite the gangbang she's involved in, I'm going to try to see if, in return, she'll do me a favor and play a little bit of a role in my non-XXX project that I'm hoping to get started on in March of 2020.
That is very cool, and we should definitely revisit that once the ball starts rolling.
And you wanted the wife's reaction.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely want to hear about this. I want to hear about the fourth time you met OJ.
So I was the conversation went like this. I go, hey, remember that podcast I did? She's like, which one? Rolled her eyes. And I said, well, you see, I've got this opportunity to sort of do an artistic project that involves some nudity. Mm-hmm. So she looked at me, and backside you've met the wife, you know how she is. Mm-hmm. She said, so like porn?
Right away. So porn.
And if you know what my wife does for a living, nothing shocks her. She works in a field that she's exposed to things that are 10 times more shocking. Not that she's a porn actress, sorry. She's in the medical field.
Yeah, no. She has definitely seen things that, she's got a nice callus to shock.
She's seen her fair share of weird shit.
Yeah.
She's seen a lot of dicks, and she's probably held a lot of dicks, and I say that with pride.
All right, man.
In fact, on Valentine's Day, she had another man's penis in her hand because she was working. So.
Oh, that's
that didn't come out too well, did it?
No, she was working in the medical field.
Yeah, that came out exactly how it should come out.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay. She's like, are you starring? And I said, no, directing. And she looked at me. She's like, okay. She's like, yeah, no problem. She's like, don't catch anything because there's only 4 STI doctors in Victoria, and I'll know.
Oh my God, I feel like we are at the front door of watching you go down a rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, The research for this was great.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. This is very fun stuff. I'm going to enjoy seeing how this goes.
I'll send you guys a copy.
Yeah, no. Not just the porn aspect of it, but it's a very, I mean, it's the kind of business the world is full of. We don't know anybody who's doing it. We've all done shady shit. I mean, we've all been involved in certain things, but this is like a very business-minded way. And I mean, way to get into this anyway. And I'm just really interested to see how that's going to go for you.
Yeah, and I'm just doing to learn a new skill. I want to know how to edit video. I want to know how camera angles work, and I kind of learned this. Actually, the software teaches you sort of
because
how to capture footage.
Yep. Yeah, because the content is negligible. It's just all about like you want to make sure that you get you're doing this for yourself, for your own like.
Yeah, you are growing as an artist, no matter what. I mean, that might sound jokey, but no, it's the truth. You are growing as an artist. It's just this is like it's part of your education phase.
Yeah, like I know how to light a scene.
Yeah.
Where to place lights. Like those things are all important. And then,
light your subject first.
Yeah. Put a flashlight in her ass. It doesn't matter. Do whatever you can.
No, I'm serious. Yep. Light your subject first, then worry about the rest.
Yep. No, that you know what? It's funny. The software says exactly that.
I've been doing this a long time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's sort of in a nutshell how me almost getting mugged for $10,000 and drugged led to this.
That is definitely the next thing we're going to talk about. Next time, we'll let
up to you. I'm here as a story, and you can decide.
No, man, it's totally fine. I'm really glad that you called in, and we should do a lot more of this kind of stuff.
I'm available anytime, boys. I have nothing to do other than shoot smut.
AG2, always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Cool, man.
It.
And I think that is actually the music now.
All right, AG2, miss you, buddy.
All right, take care, bud.
Bye.
Take care, bro. Peace out.